Welcome to First Impact, a weekly podcast where we discuss the 90s anime series Neon Genesis Evangelion. I'm Jordan, and with me is my co-host Odd Jen. This week we'll be talking about Both of You Dance Like You Want to Win, originally aired on November 29th, 1995, written by Hideaki Anno and Akio Satsukawa, directed by Seiji Mizushima. So in this episode we have the first joint Evangelion operation that involves like close quarters combat.
Yep.
Obviously, we have that scene with, the episode with Rei and Shinji fighting Ramiel. But that was more of a sniping mission.
Correct.
Where Rei was providing cover for Shinji.
They had two very different roles.
Yeah, this one was a joint close combat operation.
More synergy.
Yeah, more synergy. Mm-hmm. Well, no synergy
at first.
At the start.
Yeah, right.
So arguably, this episode was about finding synergy.
Yeah.
Like a more synergy than that.
Right. It was really good. That sequence where they got it together.
Yeah.
And they were fighting in unison. That was cool. They had like different art styles. Like at one point, it was really like cartoony, and you can almost see like pencil marks, in just the way that it was sort of drawn.
Yep.
Very stylized, very like
just riffing.
I'm just riffing, man. But no, it was really good. The music, the splicing between the two, all the different people are reacting. And,
I feel like this is one of those, they tried something different. Mm-hmm. They're approaching each of these sort of angel fights in a unique way.
That's true.
Even like what you could argue is like a typical hand-to-hand, like Unit 1 and Unit 2 now, fighting an angel in close quarters combat. They're trying to find ways to like draw the sort of personal conflicts between the characters into the fight with the angel.
The angels are a vehicle, sort of, or this one was.
Asuka runs in headlong because she's like everything to prove sort of moment. Takes the angel out seemingly in one strike. And then it splits
not so
two.
Fast. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then we get this, like, I think a great sequence of the sort of embarrassment that Nerve sort of experiences at the hands of like two children essentially piloting.
Well, that's the thing.
Giant robots.
This is sort of the first time we see the fact that kids are, responsible for these units sort of having, the effect that you think it would. Because so far, we've had Rei and Shinji, two children, piloting these units. But Shinji and Rei are not your typical kids.
Well, yeah, Rei is very mechanical. She does what she's told. She's, you put her in there, she will do whatever the objectives are. And there's very little that she can do to embarrass Nerve on a more, like, human level. Shinji, aside from his unwillingness to pilot it, he sort of stepped up to the plate in episode 6, and from this point, he's sort of, I guess, found his place within Nerve.
Oh, yeah,
he definitely goes into that first combat situation with Asuka with this idea that, he's the one with the experience.
Well, he says, you're the new one. Why are you telling me what to do?
And so I feel like he's very much sort of settled into what his role is. And there's a lightness to him. Even in those opening scenes where him, Toji, and Kensuke are like hanging out, and like Toji and Kensuke are running that photo operation.
Right.
They've seen what
Call it a
Asuka's
ring. Call it for what it is. It's a ring. Yeah, okay.
Like they've seen Asuka up close and personal, and they know what she's like, and they're both basically like sworn off her.
Yeah, right.
Because Toji has been at the brunt of her.
Oh, that's right. He got bitch slapped.
Yeah, and then Kensuke is he's mechasexual. He's not really interested in anything that's not
Wait, what did you say, mechasexual?
Yeah.
Did you just make that up?
I mean, like, let's roll with it.
Oh man, I like that. Mechasexual.
Yeah, his passions lie elsewhere. Running military drills out in the field at night by himself.
You know what he's doing in that tent. He's got the whole dark room set up. That's where he develops the photos.
He goes out to
He has to go out where it's dark. Where there's
of course. Yeah, away from the city light pollution.
That's right. Yeah.
It's all coming together now. And like they're not really interested, but there's a market for pictures of Asuka because of she's established as being like a very attractive character.
And also she's from another land.
Yeah, she is the foreign girl to all of the people in the school.
Yeah.
She's getting bombarded with like love letters, which she has absolutely zero interest in.
Yeah, right.
I mean, these are all like good sort of foundational pieces for like her like sort of character traits.
Okay.
Like who she is as a person.
Yeah, okay.
Like if you are not a pilot, she's not interested, sort of thing.
Yeah.
You very much get that sense in this episode that a lot of her identity is built around
definitely
being a pilot,
Yep.
and the sort of prestige
Mm-hmm.
in her eyes of like what that means.
Yep.
In the previous episode, you do like obviously she attacks
Mm-hmm.
Shinji sort of like his natural ability for it.
But she's one who's put the hard yards
Yeah,
in.
and that is something that she considers like lesser. That like she worked to be where she is.
Yes, right. We sort of see that when she's saying, "Don't screw this up for me, Shinji. This is my Japanese debut."
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, she's a lot very prideful character, which she says as much later on.
Yep.
Where she sets out to, when Masato's like, look, Rei has much more synergy with Shinji than you.
Oh, she
maybe
flips out.
she should be. Maybe we should have Rei pilot it.
Right.
And Asuka's very much like, my pride has been attacked.
Yeah.
And the retribution on that will be
Yeah.
tenfold.
Yeah. You will know my wrath.
I really enjoy that Shinji sort of just like, in that moment, he doesn't rebuke her or anything like that.
No.
He just gets like this like. He really seems to vibe with that.
Yeah.
Like, he appreciates who she is as a character in that moment, like her personality, which is not always going to be the case going forward.
I want to something else happened in that scene. They're all having, seemingly everyone in Shinji's life is just all
Has been
friends.
invited around.
Yeah, and having,
Including Rei. Masato brought Rei with her.
Well, that's what I want to sort of get at. Yeah, Rei is the first, very mysterious, right?
Yep.
When we first met her, she was just the girl in the gurney.
Yeah,
right?
the girl in the gurney.
The girl in the gurney. Isn't that
the new script I'm writing?
The Girl on the Train? No, what was that movie? Anyway, The Girl on the Gurney. And Rei had that whole thing with Gendo, and, So Rei is a very mysterious character.
Yep.
Okay? And, it's sort of like a dark character, or dark tones going on where we feel really sorry for her. She's been super affected by her piloting the unit.
She's mysterious and somber.
Well, words like, mental contamination are being thrown around. She's really been affected by this whole experience, right? And the whole, she just does what she's told. She's like a robot. She's emotionless. It was very sort of disturbing, right?
Yep.
For me, at least. I don't know about you, you cold bastard. But for me, it was disturbing, right? And yet, she still is that, okay? But yet, they're sort of like having fun with it. They're all at dinner, and...
Well, I feel like she's very passive in that experience.
Well, yeah.
Like, she's been brought along and she's there.
Yeah.
But
Masato's like, oh,
as
Rei,
window dressing.
Rei, you do it. You try the dancing. And Rei's like, yes, I will do it for it. Yeah? So it's a dark, disturbing accidental accent.
I feel like just a random character walked in and started speaking.
I know. A very dark, disturbing, poor child has been traumatized by being used as like a mecha fighting warrior. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's... The character traits are still there, but they're not quite exploring it as much. They're just sort of accepting it.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, that's just her personality now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the staff at Nerve are aware of like who she is.
Yeah.
Well, you do get that remark from Toji and Kensuke, like, are all the pilots
weirdos? Yeah.
Like that there is something about like every one of them is like a little bit off.
A little bit off. Yeah. Well, that's definitely true.
So, Rei keeping to herself, the entire school is like following Asuka around, and she's only interested in being friends with pilots. So she comes down and she's like, like, we should be friends. Rei, very cold and very uninterested.
Yeah, I will do
mainly
so.
Apathetic. Is like, like, why will it be beneficial? I will do it if I'm ordered to.
Yeah, right.
She very much like is this passive, no agency of her own character at this point in time. Like, they're really sticking to that goal. Like, even going to Masato's house for like their little after school sort of hangout session, Rei very much feels like she's just there because like she was told to go.
Yeah, probably.
Like, she's sitting there, she's present, until Masato's like, give it a try, Rei. She's like a silent entity that is just sitting next to Masato. She's not doing anything. And they're all sort of like sitting around, the class rep is like sitting with Pen.
Oh yeah, she's
another one
now.
Lured into
Pen's ring
trap.
of,
First you think he's cute.
Oh.
Next thing you know, you find him in the bathroom watching you.
Yeah, right.
Shinji knows all too well.
I wonder if... Oh, that class rep was pretty hilarious.
Her overreaction to Shinji and Asuka living in sin.
Oh, that. Oh, yeah. The immediate recoil in terror by her and Toji and Kensuke of them being in matching uniforms.
Yeah. The 90s leotard.
Yeah, right.
Workout leotard.
Was Pen, I asked you this, I wasn't quite sure. In the sequences where they're doing the whole dance practice.
The little montage of the working it all out.
Correct. Pen is standing. Was he the instructor? Or was he just observing?
We can only hope.
Motivating.
He's a all-purpose penguin. So he's a motivational speaker,
right?
Conductor, trainer.
Physiotherapist.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so Masato has to work one night, and this is at the tail end of the montage showing Shinji and Asuka putting in the work to actually get on the same level.
Mm-hmm.
And Asuka finding out that there's no Masato tonight, takes all her blankets and bedding stuff, takes it into another room, shuts the door.
Again, Shinji is like wall of Jericho. Shinji is the least likely,
to like pull a move.
Yeah.
Well, you say that.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's true.
See, Shinji only ever makes a move when Asuka is out of it. He's very opportunistic like that, like in the slimiest way.
Yeah,
like he is this very sort of like demure, sort of easily pushed around character.
Yeah,
and yet throughout the show, like there are these moments where like this sort of happens, and like very much stepping across the line in terms of like his, I guess, teenage curiosity and like also in a way like no idea of boundaries.
Yeah, that's true.
And the only thing that stops him in that sequence is like when she starts crying in her sleep.
Yeah, and he's like, "You're just a kid."
Yeah, which like pointed at himself and her.
Yeah, you're just a
potentially
kid as well.
Like
right.
Not just directed at her, but like maybe even himself.
I just feel sorry for him because it's sort of the second time it's happened. Remember when he goes to Ray's apartment,
right?
And she's naked and he falls on her, and
I feel like it's a very sort of,
I assure you, I'm a nice guy.
Yeah, a subversive sort of approach of the whole those fan servicey moments.
Yeah,
where like it's not whimsical. It's like a little bit like, as I said, it's opportunistic.
Right.
And Shinji goes in for like, and like accidentally starts like fast forwarding the tape, which is like a great piece of like sound design for that scene.
Yeah.
That like you have this, his entire world is
his mind is racing. Yeah.
Yeah. And you've got this like, and the whole time he's just staring at her breasts, and then he looks up at her and he goes in for the kiss. And then the only thing that stops it is like the realization of like, you're stepping across the bounds and like this is a person.
It's an interesting moment. I know we sort of make fun of the sex pestery stuff that goes on with this show.
Yep.
Most of it pen related.
That scene is played out in all its creepiness.
Yeah.
You know, like I think there is a way to view that entirely from Shinji's perspective, and like like the sound design and the way like where his focus is, and what eventually snaps him out of that. But like taking a step back, especially now being like a little bit older, a little bit wiser, and like maybe looking at the failings of the past.
Right.
Like I do very much get the reading of that scene as being like a very pointed sort of comment on that sort of attitude that is probably very prevalent in like teenage boys, maybe just even a societal thing in general. Going on from that, we also have the scene with Masato, and we find out what work is happening for her.
Oh yeah, that
working the late shift, and you basically have Kaji overstepping a line based off a former relationship, and believing, I guess, his sort of like a very old, outdated notion that like the past relationship allows him to essentially pick up where it left off in a very forceful way. And you have that very sort of like outdated, like your lips didn't say no.
Right.
And like, what am I to trust, your words or your lips or your calves? Neon Genesis Evangelion is a world of calves.
World of calves. Yeah, Kaji is an interesting cat. He's sort of a bit sex pestery with Ritsuko as well.
Yeah, he's not shy about being forward.
People. Yeah, no.
Yeah, like arms around the waist. Have you lost weight?
He says, "Oh yeah,
yeah." And I mean, like she plays it off very like casually,
right?
And I think more so because you've got Masato looking through the window.
Masato's right there.
Like breathing heavily on the window because she's like glaring at this ex-lover and he's like over the top flirty ways.
I wonder if we're ever going to get a Kaji, because at the moment there's nothing remotely likable about him. What does he do? Is his job?
Well, he's...
Like, we know, he was responsible for bringing over Adam,
Yep.
little embryo thing. But he just sort of seems to hang out and kiss people.
And that's something that Masato is confused about as well, because she's like, Unit 2's been delivered. Why are you still here? And
there's got to be a reason.
Yeah, he's not being forward about that either.
Well, he's Gendo's dude, right?
Yeah,
Gendo's guy.
He's like intelligence.
Yeah.
Which we've established in previous episodes. Masato has no real knowledge of what intelligence does. They definitely work in a completely sort of different capacity to her.
Isn't it amazing that this show has room for the likes of Gendo, the likes of, the Human Instrumentality Project and finding the first human and that sort of thing, and then an episode like this where the dance episode.
Well, Fuyutsuki gets a good workout in this episode. Gendo is away on Mysterious Business. So Fuyutsuki is the acting sort of like upper echelons of nerve.
Right.
And he's at both debriefings where he was embarrassed both times by the initial operation in which both of the units end up upside down and submerged in one in the mountainside and Shinji in the ocean. And then he bails from the scene. See, he's learnt from the master.
Yeah.
He's learnt from the master.
The Padawan, okay.
Yeah.
He's learnt, if you're going to be in charge, that's right. Before Gendo left on creepy Gendo business.
Gave him the map to where all the floors
Where all the floor platforms, shafts are. Yeah. So, look, if you're going to do a speech, if you're going to lay down, the law, just make sure to stand in these...
And then descends into the floor.
Yeah, exactly. Here's my little clicker.
I will enjoy every single moment that shit happens in this show. Going on from our discussions on last episode, we have what I assume now is the new ending for the show, with the red tinted end credits with a more upbeat instrumental piece backing the karaoke.
Yeah, we thought the red may have been just an Asuka thing.
Yeah, just like and it still might be. My recollection of like the ending credits has completely left me. I don't know whether like this is just like showing a sharp sort of like new direction that the show has gone post episode 8.
Possibly.
And I think watching the show with you now is sort of like Evangelion really seems to be marked by these large tonal shifts in the show.
Yeah.
You have this like the first sort of 6 episodes and arguably the 7th episode as well is very much a introduction to this mysterious world. It's very sort of dour in tone,
and that's what I was sort of talking about with Ray. Ray's closed offness in the first part of the show is explored as dark, disturbing, traumatization. Now it's a bit lighter. The show, she's still dark and traumatized, but it's sort of more
Asuka is
treated
arguably
lightly.
This sort of like
she's
first
the spice
major
in the
gear
sauce.
shift
in
the show's in tone and direction. And I think without spoiling anything that's coming up,
no spoilers,
the show is sort of in a way defined by these tonal shifts that sort of like periodically occur where you see what you believe the show to be alter and evolve over the course of it, either via the introduction of new characters like Kaji and Asuka. Asuka is someone who's a lot more... if you've got Shinji as a character who has trouble relating to people, at the moment, in the first 7 episodes of the show, his interactions with Rei are a very sort of like... She's a closed-off, reserved personality, but she is his age, and in a way, it's like a safe sort of like... flirting with the idea of like fraternizing with someone of the opposite sex. She's not provocative in any sense. He has the like sort of cliche like fumbling fan service moment where he falls on her and gropes her accidentally. And like she has zero reaction to that. And everything that happens in that scene is entirely on Shinji.
Right.
Like his embarrassment is his alone. Because Rei is like so mechanical that she like has no part in his embarrassment. She just gets up and leaves. And now we have a character who is arguably very proactive. Is very forceful and, in a way like a more Masato is like in those early episodes.
She's that
chastising Shinji for his lack of masculinity.
Oh yeah,
and now you have Asuka doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Aren't you a man? It's like and it's those same sort of things that he was copying from Masato, but now from like arguably a more age appropriate character.
That's true.
And someone that like from the fact that like he opportunistically like sees a moment to kiss her, like. You're getting this character who is very much like pushing Shinji in a new direction just by the virtue of who her personality is.
Well, Asuka, it's an interesting point that you said. Yeah, Asuka sort of took on a lot of the tonal, roles as Masato did.
Yeah.
Well,
she's similar but like different in the sense that she is more forward.
Yeah, and Masato's sort of now dealing with her own sort of problems with Kaji
she's been
stuff.
segued into her more adult sort of storyline.
So it's hard for her to be both at the same time. Yeah.
I think all of this like bodes for an interesting sort of new direction
Definitely.
For the character dynamics.
Yeah.
And you're already starting to see that,
Definitely.
one episode in with Shinji and Asuka's sort of this very much being a focus on their relationship and how that's going to go forward.
Yeah, right.
Especially with her taunting him post-battle about, like, what were you doing up so late? And he's like, I was studying the things. It's like, well, you tried to kiss me while I was sleeping. He's like, you were
yeah, I know, yeah.
You were pretending to sleep. That's no fair. And she's like, what the fuck? Like, I was only joking. Like, she definitely sort of prodded that response out of him.
I feel sorry for Shinji so much. One, he's so not that guy. He's so demure, like you say.
I don't know. Arguably, he is that. He is the nice guy in the sense that, like,
but
he calls himself a nice guy, but he's not as nice.
But you're right.
Thinks.
He's still got the teenagey curiosity. But all of that is being played out for all, like, his superiors, everyone over the loudspeaker system. Everyone's listening to this conversation.
His personal failings and foibles,
are just being played out.
Yeah, they're the to the privy of nerve.
Yeah, nerve. Yeah. Well, that and the fact that everyone in his life, like because he's part of the first part of the series, and all the series basically is him having trouble with connecting with people. Right. Yeah. Every introduction with every character he's had has always been awkward and bizarre, has that sort of teething period, but yet all of them now are like friends with each other, and so the only thing they have in common is like Shinji.
Yep.
So any sort of weird interaction he has with any of them, everyone sort of knows about it.
Our second episode today is Magma Diver, originally aired on December 6, 1995, written by Hideaki Anno and Akio Satsukawa, directed by Tsuyoshi Kaga and Hiroyuki Ishido.
Magma Diver. Interesting episode, this one. All the action it's sort of like a bottle episode in a way. Is that the correct use of that term?
I think they're usually a little bit more condensed, but the majority of this episode does,
sort of one sequence.
Once you've got the preamble with the whole...
Who's going to do the thing.
Yeah, Shinji and Asuka and Rei, their school is going to go on a beach trip.
Oh, that's right. I sort of forgot that.
So this was almost like the obligatory beach episode where you get to see all the characters in a bikini.
But it never happens.
But it never happens.
But we never see
you do, but... Not because of the actual beach trip.
Yeah. Oh, so this is more satire? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. Not so much, but it is definitely playing with the tropes.
That's what
I guess this Neon Genesis is so old now. It's like some of these things that they were subverting, it's like, were they subverting it? Or was it not even a thing yet?
Yeah, right. Yeah, interesting.
It certainly could have been.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not going to claim that I'm some sort of like anime trope expert.
Okay.
But yeah, the beach episode is a thing. And,
all right.
And this one does swerve away from it.
Right.
By actually having an angel attack. Or rather, the first angel sort of embryo
offensive.
That they're gonna grab before it even hatches.
Yeah. Interesting that, I sort of had this thought and then I sort of backtracked. While I was watching the episode, I thought, interesting how like the angel is an embryo and then it comes fully formed
rapidly
in a matter
evolves,
of seconds, which we did know that's how it sort of worked.
I don't know if it's larger when they find it. You know, when Asuka gets down there in the suit, and it's a large egg-like shape.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether it was it always that size when they first found it, or was it a little bit smaller?
No.
Because, like, comparatively, obviously
small.
the embryo is quite similar to how Adam's shown in
Yeah,
previous episode.
Like exactly
drawing a nice parallel between the two.
Yeah.
And then when they actually find
Right.
this particular angel, it turns out that it's significantly larger than Adam. Adam being able to fit inside a briefcase.
That's right. Yeah, I thought it was interesting how it comes fully formed and then immediately attacks. You know, it's like it's born into violence. It's like Tojo. No, it's only violent. But to be fair, to the angel for a second, that thing, like the unit was in the middle of capturing it.
Yeah.
So it could have just been a reflex action. Yeah, interesting. We see an angel being born for the first time.
Yeah.
And it looks like Adam, the first human.
Yeah, they wanted to capture the angel and have their first live specimen.
Right.
But unfortunately failed to do so.
They hit it with the old thermal expansion instead.
Yeah. Well, the first half of this episode is very sort of like... You've got
There's thermal expansion there too.
Yeah, you've got the whole beach thing.
Yeah.
We're introduced at the start of the episode with Asuka and Kaji on a shopping trip.
That's right.
Where he's like confronted by the idea of a 14-year-old wanting a bikini, and he's a man of a different time.
Yeah.
And then from there we find out immediately that Misato can't have them go on a school trip because they're on permanent standby.
They have to save the world instead.
Yeah. And we have the weird scene where it appears as though Toji, the class rep, and Kensuke have all died in a horrific plane crash.
It was an interesting choice by the animators. The plane starts to go off toward where do they go on that trip?
They're going to Okinawa.
Okay, that's right, Okinawa. And then the sort of like phasey out sort of images of all the class members,
the transparent,
saying goodbye,
ghostly images of them saying goodbye.
Images.
It's beautiful. I'll bring you back a souvenir.
And they never did. So they all died.
That's it, written out of the show.
Yeah, right. So I wonder if we'll probably not see what happened at that beach. They all come back with tans.
Yeah, this is another one of those dynamic shifts in the show where the remainder of the series, all of Shinji's class has a really noticeable tan,
right?
Except for Rei, Shinji, and Asuka.
Yeah, to signify the divide between
the first children,
the first children and normal kids. Well, they still had fun, like you said. They were in the pool for a little bit.
Yeah, they try to make up for it with Asuka. She gets to show off her swimsuit regardless of where she is.
Yeah, we
get another sort of like I guess sort of prodding of Shinji and trying to get him out of that shell. I feel like after that previous episode, we're getting like, it's not really an antagonistic sort of relationship, but it feels much more like a bunch of peers.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
Like, Ray's there too.
That's what I mean. Ray's there too. That's her whole thing.
She's not involved in the conversation, and she's just swimming like a piece of driftwood.
Yeah, even the way she swims. Yeah, right.
Yeah, very joyless swimming.
Yeah.
And then Asuka comes over and Shinji's trying to catch up on the homework that he's been failing with, and you know, she reveals like that she is essentially a prodigy. And
super smart, and also
the only thing that's holding her back is that she's been unable to learn kanji so far.
Yeah, right.
Shinji, watch me.
Yeah, that was so fun. At the end, Shinji, he's looking over at Rei because Rei's just got down to the pool. She's sort of drying off. But in typical Rei,
Shinji with that like classic, like immediately drawn to Rei at all times.
Yeah, well, in typical sort of Rei style, or the way that they portray Rei, she's drying off, but like her back is to Shinji.
Yep.
You know, again, mysterious. And then he's looking at her. Then he looks over at Asuka. Watch me do a back entry, and he just rolls over.
She's into the
pool.
Gear.
And Shinji's like,
Asuka didn't miss out on anything that she wanted to do at the beach. She got to do.
She got to show off her swimsuit. She didn't get to show off to Kaji though, Mr. Kaji.
No, Mr. Kaji
just hanging out on
a weird meeting
in a cable car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, when you're a spy and you've got to have those like little information drops.
Right.
See, I think this was the implication that Kaji is working for a third party.
Got to be Gendo, right?
Well, no, that he is leaking information on Gendo to someone else.
Oh fuck!
Because that conversation they're having,
with the lady with the dog.
Yeah, he implies that, like, well, not implies. He says as much, that like, this is information that I'm delivering to you to go to our our mutual sort of
He's playing
interest.
everyone. He's playing Gendo.
Yeah, he is. He's working for Gendo,
Right.
and he is dealing information on Gendo to a third party.
Damn.
Very much a double agent at this point is what it reads to me.
Oh yeah. Early part of this episode, I was wondering, is Kaji gonna have a redeeming moment? You know, are we gonna see a? I don't have high hopes.
Think he's gonna exit this show with as just like a scoundrel?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think we talk about.
He's very much set up that way, isn't he?
Yeah, we've talked about like a lot of the duality of a lot of the characters, how they're set up as one thing, then we learn more about them. I think Kaji's just going to be scoundrel.
Well, yeah,
it's getting worse.
Kaji's duality is almost only in his professional side.
Yeah.
Like, his personality is very much like we're seeing the one side of him, which is that he is a very like sort of philanderous character, and then he is a double agent, sort of spy in his professional
There
work.
was a little moment of potential humanity, but they skipped right over it. It was right before the title sequence came up. Someone asked him something, and he's like, "Oh, happened in the second impact." No, you didn't go.
Oh yeah, what'd you do for your school trip?
Yeah, what'd you do on your school trip? Oh, I couldn't. We didn't have one. The whole second impact happened.
Yeah.
And then I was expecting
the world shit itself.
Yeah, I was expecting. Oh, is that right? But no, just title sequence, bang, and then that was it. So I think that's it for Kaji's sort of humanity. I think
he exists for one thing and one thing only: piping and stealing information.
Piping. Basically, the whole rest of this episode, which takes place at the magma river.
Yeah, the volcano where they find this angel. So this angel is, my understanding is that it's Sandalphon.
What does that mean?
So that is a archangel in Judeo-Christian writings.
Gotcha.
So the idea behind his name
Yeah.
is maybe related to Sandek, and which is like a station held by Elijah and the prophet.
That Elijah.
Yeah, that Elijah.
Yeah.
And the idea of his role as a protector of the unborn, which certainly there are like obviously there are ways in which the name could also be derived from like Greek or other sort of like the Book of Revelation and things like that.
Yeah.
It fits.
Yeah,
You've got
right.
this angel that they find in an embryonic state. Yeah, that one feels like pretty clear to me, without having to dive too much further into any of the other names.
Let's not dive into the magma of the situation. What was the name of the angel in the last episode?
So that was Israfel.
We didn't see much about that. He just sort of lived to die by the dance, didn't he?
So Israfel is the angel who blows the trumpet before Armageddon. So once again, a pretty like, I feel like these two back-to-back ones, like really fitting names.
Yeah.
You've got this like musically themed. They're gonna defeat
blows
him.
the trumpet.
Yeah,
music.
defeat him using the dance
that's
to the song.
That's clever.
And the sort of like Arabic symbol for the name, like I don't know, like you could almost interpret it as like two halves. Yeah. So
Israfel gets cut in two.
Yeah.
By let's talk. Speaking about Asuka, I sort of how did you then feel about her new threads in this episode? The big. What's the D suit?
The D-type,
the D-type
equipment.
Yeah.
Look, this is how you make Unit 2 styling. You put it in a big old-timey scuba suit that can survive pressure and high temperatures.
I like that Nerve who has the ability to suck all the power from Japan to use at their whim. Instead of going, oh, we seal it here, we make this adjustments, we blah, blah, blah. No, they just put the suit in a suit.
Well, you got to remember, the Unit 2 or the Evangelions in general, they're sort of like a big man.
Oh, big person. Yeah, that's true.
So they're not really in a suit. They as like a sort of cybernetic being, of like have organic tissue with them,
That's
and then
true.
they've
You
got
can't
armor
really-
plates attached to them.
Yeah, okay.
So then it needs to be in a pressurized suit.
It just looked funny seeing that thing in a big scuba suit of it.
Asuka very much fulfilling someone's fetish out there in the large Violet Beauregarde style.
You said while we were watching, we saw the reveal of her in the inflated state.
Yeah.
What did you say? And thus 1,000 fetishes were born.
No, it's a thing. Look it up.
Thing?
Inflation.
I don't want to look it up, dog. I don't want to look it up.
Though I would say Willy Wonka probably is the one that can be credited with starting that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they defeat this angel using thermal expansion in a very
using teamwork.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Sort
of moment.
Yeah.
Everyone's like everyone thinking about the thermal expansion for different reasons.
Yeah.
Shinji thinking about Asuka's very illustrative demonstration of thermal expansion. Asuka thinking about not wanting to die.
Yes, right.
And all coming to that same
wordplay again. It's the thing.
It's like a synergy.
It's like synergy. We see in all sort of series now at the I'm putting my foot down at the end.
I'm glad someone is.
Yeah, right. Asuka, very gung ho, always is, right?
Yeah, she's gonna do it.
Yeah.
And the only reason she wasn't gonna do it is because of the unflattering suit.
Yeah, exactly. So, but she does do it. Fails, and Shinji has to save her. And then she's like,
no, she succeeds.
Well, she does, but then she's going to die.
Yeah.
Okay. I would call that a fail. But Shinji saves her, and Asuka's like, oh, Shinji, blah, blah. I wonder if we're going to see a little bit more humility now from Asuka and appreciate her peers,
Yeah, I mean, Shinji has that moment in the episode where, she captures it when she first goes down into the lava, and they get, ridiculously far down because the currents are moving quicker than expected.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
They go all the way down there. They're like, this is not an unmanned drone anymore.
Yeah, right.
When it all starts going wrong, you're going to lose a pilot here.
Yeah.
And Masato having to make the call.
Dude, Masato was cold-blooded in this one.
Yeah, this is the director of operations.
Yeah, definitely,
at work.
Definitely.
So Asuka gets the cage, captures the angel straight away.
Yeah.
And then makes her ascent, and it cuts to that shot of Shinji, and he just looks really proud.
Yeah,
he's got this nice warm smile. It's I really feel
he's a good boy. That's what I mean.
You're getting this him pulled out of his shell.
Yeah, right.
That's what I like. I really got that sense of, they had their little bit of banter, where she's pushing and prodding him and he's not, but I very much this episode, between the look at me, Shinji,
right,
as she dives back into the pool, and then when she's getting
look at me,
when she's descending into the volcano, she does the other sort of scuba entry into the lava,
yeah.
And she calls out the name of it as she does. Was it the long stroke
yeah,
entry or something.
Yeah, yeah. What? Why do you know why scuba divers enter the water backwards?
No. Do you know?
Because if they fell forwards, they'd still be in the boat.
Oof. I got baited so hard into that one.
Wow, dude.
I was...
Wordplay.
I went in there with trust.
Nah, never.
And I was like slapped to the ground because of that trust.
Call me Pen Pen.
Look, it's a theme of this series, you know?
Yeah, right. Duality.
The closer I try and give
You're a hedgehog.
my trust...
I'm a hedgehog, dude.
Yeah, I just end up hurt.
Yeah, right.
We can't wrap this conversation up without mentioning arguably one of the payoffs of the fan service.
Yeah.
You get some nice gratuitous pen.
Oh yeah.
Multiple times in this episode. Once in the bath.
Yep.
And then towards the end, once they've saved the day, Masato comes through for everyone.
Yeah.
And books a little hot spring action, the old onsen.
Yeah, right. And onsen, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Interesting. Yeah, so we see Masato.
And they receive a delivery from Kaji, which is Pen.
Oh, yeah.
He's in a cooler box.
Now,
At first I wasn't like, why does it say cool? And then Pen being in there, like, because it's like an esky.
Yeah, it's an
or like a foam, like an insulated box.
Was that, do you think that was Kaji's idea and he sent Pen over there?
Well, because
against his will?
Someone needed to keep Shinji company.
Yeah, right.
Because, like, the male and female separated springs.
That's right.
So Shinji's all alone without Pen Pen.
And so when you need a responsible guardian, who do you call?
Pen Pen. Yeah, your wingman.
Yeah, right. Okay, that was good. Wing is a bird. Okay, hey, that was bizarre in that hot spring scene. Pen Pen is like floating on the surface of the water like a duck, wasn't he?
Yeah, looking extra thick.
Extra thick.
That Pen rump.
He's got a D suit of his own. D type. Yeah, and the D stands for damn.
Dirty bird.
Dirty bird. Anyway, there is sort of we end on like a sort of serious moment. We see.
Well, it flounders between your very sort of provocative classic Japanese, like maybe this is crossing a line sort of element of flirtiness. Where Shinji tosses the lotion over and it hits Asuka in a place that it shouldn't, and Masato decides that she has to inspect it to make sure it's fine.
Yeah, right.
Shinji the whole time standing on the other side, blushing, Pen eyeing off a little bit of thermal expansion of his own.
Yeah, right.
And
the early bird gets the worm.
And then we cut across to the other side.
And they're actually having a little moment. Well, at the end,
where Asuka's like looking at Masato's like pretty full-on scar.
Yeah, right.
That she's gotten from Second Impact. Yeah.
So
the mysteries keep piling up.
Well, yeah, 2 times now. Well, twice in this episode. Second Impact is sort of mentioned, or the effects it's had on people.
Yeah,
Masato, Scar, Kaji's
I think Masato in a previous
holiday.
episode says she doesn't get along with her dad because he died during Second Impact. I think is what she says to.
She doesn't get along well with him because he's dead.
But I think that's the setup.
Right.
Is that like you don't get along with him? She says to Shinji in a previous episode,
I don't get along well.
I don't. Like
yeah, I
she
know what you're
has
saying.
Father issues as well because hers is dead. So like. I know it's ridiculous to set it up like that, but like that, her
I know what you're saying.
Estrangement is like
permanent,
his, but is in a different way
because he's
or
dead.
Is it?
Well, we don't know. Maybe it's Gendo. Lack of Gendo. Oh,
I did a really concerned face when he said that.
Yeah, right. I wonder when we're going to start to see the mysterious stuff again. Kendo, Instrumentality Project. The last couple episodes have been lighter, definitely.
Yeah,
with the introduction
this is like the shift into like we're gonna find an angel every episode.
Yep.
And they have.
Right.
Since her appearance, they have fought an angel in every episode. Which there were a few gaps between. There were like a lot more quieter moments in the previous 7 episodes.
Yeah,
I mean, like one of the big moments in the first 7 episodes is not even against an angel; it's against Jet alone, the human one, or the man-made.
That's right.
Machine.
No, but it's been all action since Asuka came in. But now, like I said, I sort of wonder now that sort of Shinji bailed Asuka out, if they're going to sort of become a little bit closer, and then now that they're sort of cool with each other,
the developing of like a proper camaraderie.
Well, that, and then I think once their sort of tension is dissipated, I wonder if they're now going to try to connect with the only other little pilot in their unit, which is Rei. Yeah. I wonder if that's how it's going to happen.
When do you start bringing Rei into the fold?
That's what I mean. And
trying to like pull her out of her shell.
Yes, and I feel that the two of them together, Shinji and Asuka, maybe will team up to sort of do that. Because I'm interested in Rei.
Well, in regards to Credit Watch 2019,
right?
We have a return to the blue background.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And a more laid back instrumental accompanying the karaoke.
More soothing.
Yeah.
That might be telling. We'll see.
Maybe it was just 2 special episodes because of how like Oscar centric. Even though this one I would say as well quite Oscar centric.
Yeah, this one was. Yeah.
Yeah. That'll do us for today. You can find me on Twitter at It's Got Stealth. Old Jen, as always.
I'm deep down in the depths, man. I'm the magma. I'm like Sand Dolphin.
You cannot find him. Thanks for listening.